guys, so today I actually have a book review for you. I don't do these very often simply because I don't know if you guys really want to see them or not. If you ever want to see a particular book reviewed, please don't hesitate to let me know and I will definitely do it for you. But I thought I would actually do a review on this one because there's so much hype around it and I felt motivated to do one for this book, and that is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So I'll start off by reading the back of the book. Starting over sucks. When we moved to West Virginia right before my senior year, I'd pretty much resigned myself to thick accents, dodgy internet access, and a whole lot of boring, until I spotted my hot neighbour with his looming height and eerie green eyes. Things were looking up. And then he opened his mouth. Damon is infuriating, arrogant, stab-worthy. We do not get along, at all. But when a stranger attacks me, and Damon literally freezes time with a wave of his hand, well, something unexpected happens. The hot alien living next door marks me. You heard me. Alien. Turns out Damon and his sister have a galaxy of enemies wanting to steal their abilities, and Damon's touch has lit me up like the Vegas Strip. The only way I'm getting out of this alive is by sticking close to Damon until my alien mojo fades. If I don't kill him first, that is. So, cover-wise, I really like this. You guys probably already know that my favourite colour is green. So this, I instantly like this. But the guy on the cover, the cover models for this series stay the same. And they match pretty well with how you imagine the characters, particularly Damon. So I really like that element of it, that the people on the cover are as they're supposed to look. When that doesn't happen, it's kind of a pet peeve. I love that on the spine you have book 1. More series need to do that. So this book, this series, this author all have a massive hype around them. I have honestly never heard a bad word said about the Lux series, which this is. I've not heard a bad word about it, and I've had the first 2 books in this series on my shelf for over a year. So after book 4 came out recently, came out in August. I thought, yeah, I'll pick up book 1, and I blazed through this in just a couple of days. If I didn't have work, I would have got through it in a day. I would have just sat and just blazed through it. I read 150 pages in about 6 hours, which to me is pretty good because I didn't read that solid. You know, I was doing other things, but I'd pick it up, read 50 pages, put down. So, you know, in an evening, really, I read the first 150 pages. I'm part of the hype now. I absolutely understand why people loved it. The plot could be, like, on paper, it comes across very Twilight-ish, and I mean, I hate to make that comparison, but it does. I mean, girl moves to really quiet town. You know, you have these really, really good-looking families. She almost dies and she's saved. It's like, how could you manage to save me? Type thing. But it's really awesome. I love Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing. She, like, even in the blurb, I found her humour really comes across, and she makes her characters like Kat, who is our protagonist, her thought processes come across as very funny, and they just make you smile and laugh because they come across as very believable. And I loved that about Jennifer Armentrout's writing, and I found that with her other books that I have read. I've mostly read her new adult contemporaries that come under her writing as Jaylyn, but she does the same with her characters in that their thought process is just the way they think is funny but believable, and I really like that. Like I said, the pacing was fantastic. I was hooked very early on. Didn't want to put it down. I really resented having to stop reading to go to work. And Damon, I totally see why everyone calls him swoon-worthy. 1 minute he's really nice, 1 minute you actually want to reach through the pages and slap him. But he's very funny with it. He's sort of arrogant, jerky, smart ass. And with those type of characters, I find it all depends on how they're written. Sometimes I will really not like that type of character, but Jennifer Armentrout really pulled it out of the bag and I loved him. The whole alien aspect I really enjoyed. Not something I'd read before, so it was nice and refreshing, with their abilities and their enemies. That aspect I really liked. There was a fair bit of action towards the end. It really cranked up towards the end, and when I finished this, I was just totally, absolutely 100% 5 stars. Absolutely just phenomenal. I can't even speak. That's how good it is. Totally loved it. I'm probably the only person on the planet that hasn't read this yet, but if you haven't, I do recommend checking it out. It's at least checking out the first book. It was totally, really just awesome. Loved it. Love Jennifer Armentrout now. She became one of my favourite authors after I read Wait for You. I really loved it, but she's just sealed the deal now with Obsidian. Loved it. And after I finished this, I straight away had to go on to book 2 Onyx, which I won't get into in this video, but loved it. And I obviously gave Obsidian 5 out of 5 stars. It was just perfection. I just absolutely loved it. It had everything that I love in a book. The romance element was interesting actually, because it was sort of like love, hate, like the attraction. You can see that they really like each other and they want to be together, but then they argue all the time. So it's just love hate, and I absolutely, it was just done so well. Loved it. So yeah, definite 5 out of 5. Highly recommend this series now. I've already finished book number 2 Onyx. I haven't read book 3 or book 4 yet because I've had other things that I've needed to read, but will definitely be carrying on with the series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy reading.